Well,
let me know what 40 years is.
Well, it's the stress of the business, you see, that you introduced me to. That's what's done it. So, now watching that video that we saw, I mean, it brings back so many fantastic memories. The moments, the people, the fans, and of course, among those faces in there, two faces that are of true legends that are no longer with us, sadly. We recently lost Carrie Fisher and Kenny Baker. Now, absolutely. Now, these were two people who were inspirational to me in my early career, and I just want to acknowledge that we all love and miss them, and will continue to celebrate their legacies during this show today, at the event, and also beyond. Now, George, cast your mind back, all the way back to the early 70s. I want to know about that moment you first came up with Star Wars. Where were you? What was going on?
Well, you know, again, Star Wars evolved. It didn't come out in one thing.
Well, there wasn't a moment.
There was a moment, but it was like an idea.
See,
and the idea was more, I would like to make an action movie, which is more like a Saturday matinee serial that I enjoyed as a kid, but imbue it with mythological, psychological motifs, because we don't have any of those today. So I said, well, I want to take these two things and put them together. And again, I did it, and then a few years later, I ended up making a deal with United Artists. They said, what other movies do you have? Because I was making a deal for American Graffiti. I said, I have this sort of space opera thing. They said, okay, we'll do a deal for that. The one thing you've got to learn about studios is that if you get your break, you say, I got to.
And I especially liked visiting the people behind the scenes. That was a very special experience for me, besides working with these wonderful actors.
So were you a fan of Star Wars before you were involved?
Well, I was a fan of THX, 1138. Yeah, and that's when I got turned on to George Lucas. And so I was, and you know, at that particular time, there were all these wonderful young filmmakers that were changing the face of cinema. And George certainly was at the helm of that whole period. And so for me, I was pretty established, as more so than most of the actors that were in the film. And I was doing some interesting things with my life and my career. And so when I had the opportunity to work with George Lucas, I mean, I thought that was like going straight to heaven.
That's fabulous.
Seriously, it was a wonderful, extraordinary experience that I'm very happy to have had.
Wow, no, it is. Now, Lando is a very smooth character. Did you bring a lot to the character? Is that a lot of Billy D. Williams in there, or did George say this is how it should be? How did that
George
work?
and Irv Kirchner, and but the thing is, the two components, the cape,
Oh, yes.
and Calrissian, an Armenian name, IAN. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. Let me play around with this whole idea. Because I didn't want to do a kind of stereotypical cliche kind of character. I wanted to bring something really special to it. Something bigger than life.
Well, you certainly did that. You certainly did that. Now, George, it must feel pretty rewarding to be surrounded by 1, 2, 3, dare I say 4 of your greatest character creations. Why don't we go crazy and make it 5? Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Hamill!
Thank you.
celebration. We're celebrating 40 years of Star Wars.
Well, I can never get over the fans. They are supportive. They're with you in good times, bad times. They're more supportive than my actual family. Because they criticize me all the time. But listen, to be honest with you, meeting you and hearing your stories and how the movies affected your lives or inspired you, or you met your future wife or husband, the way it's being passed down to the next generation, it's really moving, and certainly nothing I've ever taken for granted. I'm always just stunned at the passion that has lasted all these years. Yeah.
Calculate the coordinates.
You left out the nav computer.
Take a few minutes for the nav computer to calculate the coordinates. I said to George, you can type this stuff, but you can't say it. Move your mouth while you're talking, while you're typing it. And I couldn't say it. It took me like 15 takes.
Harrison, it's such a pleasure to see you, and thank you for being
pleasure
here
to see you.
at your first celebration. Now, I can't believe we managed to keep it a secret, considering you landed your plane on